This weekend with Rossin Outdoors, we're taking a step back. I've been bow hunting since I was about 11 years old here in the state of Minnesota, and I've tipped over enough deer with a compound. Although I love it, I've made a personal choice as myself to step back and go to stick and string and traditional archery. So today we're going to be going over some basics of traditional archery. Stay tuned and see what we have next. All right, so we made a choice to buy classic Bear recurve bows. This one here is a 1963 Bear Kodiak. So to protect the limbs on these bows, it's a good idea to use a stringer. If we do it the old-fashioned way between the legs, we can run the risk of twisting our limbs. So you insert one end of the stringer up close towards one tip, and then the tip that you're going to slide up, you want to go past the yoke of the string here. So now we're going to put our feet in there, shoulder width apart, and as we pull up, it flexes the limbs, and then I can slide my string up until I'm yoked. Double check, make sure on both ends before you release it. Okay, now I let it down, and bang. It's that simple. Bow is strung. One other little tidbit. Got to have the arm guard, especially in traditional archery, until you get comfortable with shooting. Because your break-in period or your transition period into traditional bow hunting, if you don't have one of these bad boys here, you'll have a nice red scrape mark on the side of your arm. So I went with Fred Bear's traditional arm guard. This one's real easy to take off. Look at this. It's a bing, stick your finger in the hole of the lace, and it's off just that easy. No Velcro making noise in the woods. Custom leather, and you got a piece of archery history here with a Fred Bear traditional arm guard. So make sure you have one of them. All right, so first order of business is, in traditional archery and with a lot of compound archery and all that kind of stuff, we're always cognizant of the cock feather. The cock feather on the arrow is the one odd colored feather. We got two purples here and a green. Okay, so with traditional archery, we want the cock feather facing up away from the riser. The riser is this portion of the bow right here, okay? Now, there's a couple different grips, string grips. The most widely known is one above and two below the nock being the portion of the arrow that attaches to the string, okay? But what I've come to recently like shooting, because I shoot way more accurately and it brings the shaft of the arrow closer to my eye, so my sight plane and my point of impact is more intuitive, is I put 3 fingers below the nock. And I try to leave about 1/8 of an inch space between the top of my index finger and the nock, so I don't get string pinched. Because as I draw this bow back, the angle of the string changes, and this becomes a little small triangle. And if I'm too close, it'll end up putting pressure on the nock and affect my arrow flight. So about 1/8 of an inch here. And then I take my middle finger and I'm touching it to the corner of my mouth as an anchor point when I come back, and my index finger touches my cheekbone, and I'm aiming while I'm looking down the arrow shaft and drawing at the same time. So I'm letting my dominant eye take over and I'm drawing, and as soon as I get to full draw and I touch my anchor point, I release my arrow. Okay, so it's more of like controlled snap shooting, similar to what Fred Bear talked about back in the day. So let's see what it looks like in action. And there's the result. That's a dead deer, ladies and gentlemen, because this is only a hand's width circle, so probably about a 6-inch circle, and I'm just a scotch off of dead center with fingers. And then we're starting out at 10 yards, and then you want to stretch. So you build that positive muscle memory in close, so you have success right off the bat. You're not putting arrows in the side of the bale, over the bale, under the bale. Start out at 10 yards. Once you start tack driving, then you start stretching your distance out a little bit further each time until you're comfortable, all the way out to about 20 yards. 20 to 25 yards, whatever you're comfortable shooting. But if you start losing accuracy, we shouldn't be practicing at those ranges, because it's unethical when we're in the woods to take shots that we are not consistently accurate at, because we end up wounding animal, and then we lose our reputation as bow hunters being ethical hunters and humane. So keep it in tight, keep it accurate. Notice how fast that was and how quiet it was. You don't have to have a compound to be successful with the boat. That sucker fast. All right, now that we've practiced from 10 yards out to 20 yards, we showed where to anchor, our aiming. We're looking down the arrow as we're aiming till we figure out our point of impact, our natural point of aim. And we've practiced that to where we're grouping inside that little 6-inch circle out to 20 yards. Now we gotta try elevation. And here's where we're gonna do it from. We are fortunate enough at this range to have a tree stand simulation here. And that is right at about 15 yards and elevated up, looks like about 13 feet, maybe 14 feet. So let's see what happens. That's how it's done, sizzle chest.
My name is Drew Rosson. I'm gonna see what I can do with my grandfather's bow.
All right, with traditional archery, it is absolutely crucial that you have a repeatable shot process. What do I mean by that? That means everything from your draw stroke to your aiming, to your anchor point, to your release. It's exactly the same every single time. Take care of each and every step, and your accuracy will find you. Just like that, that's how it's done, ain't it, Chase? Rosson legacy lives on. We'll see you guys in the field. Here I picked up, it's the Kodiak Hunter, and this one's 57 pounds. That's a heck of a lot faster. Woo! You noticed in our video here today how quiet this thing is, right? One string, and right here, these little bad boys, these cat whiskers. Back in my day, it was bear puffs, these acrylic yarn devices that are on there, and there's other ones out there, beaver balls and all that kind of stuff. But as long as you have an effective string silencer that makes your bow whisper quiet and as fast as these things are, I'm gonna put something on the ground this fall. This is Rosson Outdoors. Stay tuned to our next show and see what we have coming up next, because we're going to be getting busy with some other kind of outdoor adventure. We will see you next time on Rosson Outdoors, and this will be my prodigy. Be one with the arrow, Daniel-san. Focus. Focus power. Focus more, Daniel-san. Focus.
Keep it at the border D.